Hello everybody. I am just getting myself over onto my page here to see that we are actually live. If you happen to be here, just comment hello, and I'm just gonna see. Need to turn the volume way down on here before we get some feedback. Hi Lori, I can see Lori's there. I see there's a few people, so must be working. Just want to make sure you guys see the orientation in the right way so that this is landscape here. Does that look correct to all of you? It's been a while since I've gone live, so it took me a little bit to get this going here. It appears to be showing up correctly on my end, so just want to make sure. Hi Linda. Hi Lori, Jessica. I'm so glad some of you could join me at last minute here. So I'm going to show you guys tonight how to color this image here. I came up with a little bit of a different technique than I had seen done before. It may have been done. It's just that I haven't seen it. So I wanted a really soft colored look for this flower. In the samples that we got to see ahead of time, the coloring was nice and soft and I wanted that look, but I wasn't sure how they achieved it. So I just played around until I came up with something to get that look. So I had posted it maybe a week or so ago, just a little sneak peek, and promised that I would come back and show you guys how to do that. So that's what I'm going to do today. I won't make this full project. Hi everyone. But I will make this one real quick. This one is nice and easy, really fast to make. So I'll make this one here. It features the same stamp set that I used to make this one here. It is the new, I believe I'm allowed to show it to you guys. It is the new or upcoming Blessings of Home stamp set. So some of you know that On Stage is our Stampin' Up! Kind of like a convention. Usually it's in person, but the last couple of years it's been virtual. That is taking place right now. So as attendees, we get to purchase some things to go with this event ahead of time. So I have a little sneak peek of that I can show you guys. So I'll just move this aside for a second to show you what I'll be crafting with tonight. So I have the Blessings of Home stamp set. That's this image here. And then this really nice greeting. Thank you for inspiring me. So I made this project as a gift for my teammates who are attending On Stage with me. And I added in this little coffee gift card holder. So they've got a little Starbucks card in there. And inside here is this super magnetic tray. So I don't know if you guys are like me, but I find that these little dies, I always set them down and then they shuffle under a piece of paper and they might go missing. As well intended as I am with my magnetic sheet that I try to keep dies on while I'm working on a project, sometimes these little guys just don't get put back, or if I have helpers helping me prep kits. So we've got a few of these now. So we try to keep them nearby, and whenever you're die cutting, if you've run a piece of paper through, you've got to throw it back in the tray. So it's super, like you can see that there, it's got a really good hold. So I wanted to give that tool to my teammates, so they each got one of those. And then inside there, I have rolled up a couple of Imperial cookies. If you are local, you've probably heard of High Tea Bakery. So this was wrapped up inside there. And then I used the On Stage logos to make them a card. So they've got this here with their package as well. And then I will move these things for a moment so that you can see this here. This mat here, I got this in my kit for On Stage in the swag bag. So I laminated one of these for them in a matte finish, and it seems to be doing the trick. My goal with this was to help eliminate the glare of the overhead lights. So you do have a bit of a shadow, but it's definitely working. I don't know if any of you guys have tried these yet, the laminated mats, but it's doing the trick. You have that too, Ashley, the magnetic tray. It's a godsend. I don't know why I didn't just get one sooner. I had heard about them, but I was determined to make my magnetic sheet work, and the tray is amazing. All right, so there's this stamp set. It has coordinating classic matte dots. We have some coordinating ribbon that comes with that line. So I tied the ribbon in here. I should show you a different box. This one here has the ribbon facing a different way than all the others for some reason. So I just did most of them like this here. This was my prototype, so that one's actually a little bit lighter. but I'll show you guys this here. Same technique though. And then we have some really pretty paper and the dies, of course. So this one is the one from it's called Heart and Home DSP. And then there's some really nice wood grains. So we have this one with the bees. Show you guys this really quick. I don't want to keep you too long before I jump into the technique, but I also don't want to tease you with paper and then not show you. So we have this one here. More wood grain. I love wood grain. So if you guys are like me, you will love this DSP. This one's a nice soft floral with some more wood grain. Lots of soft florals and wood grains. Another floral and more wood grain. And then I think we just have one more. So this one here, and then another wood grain. So you get a lot of wood grain in this package. I know I was sad when the last package of wood grain paper retired, so this one will be a really good substitute. And then there are these dies. Oopsie. So this is the one that I have used with this image here. That one fell off my sheet. I haven't converted it to a magnet sheet yet. So you get all of these. So some really nice floral detail images. And then this one here, of course, goes with the large floral stamp there. So I'll put these aside. If anyone has any questions, I will try to keep my eye on those while I stamp, but I don't want to make you guys wait too long while I get into, or before I get into the stamping. All right, so I'll just keep this here so that I have something to go off of, and I will get coloring so that you guys can see what or how I got that look. Okay, so I've got some regular white cardstock. I should actually show you guys one last thing. I had also made these lanyards. If any of you have been to a Stampin' Up! Event, it's always fun to get the lanyard. And then particularly at conventions, they always give us ribbons for our achievements. And so I came up with a way to be able to give that to all of my teammates for their achievements this year. Okay, so for this image, I'm gonna just bring this one a little bit closer. I colored with Misty Moonlight. That's the color that is in the DSP. So I wanted to use the colors that were in there. This one here is Fresh Freesia, Old Olive, and then I used some Daffodil Delight for the centers of the flowers. So those are the colors there. I used blends. So though it is a very soft look, I did use the blend markers. And I'm going to bring in some clear blocks or something something non-porous. If any of you are trying this along with me, if you have a different image you're coloring, or if you wanted to color this one, if you're an onstage attendee and have it, you can always grab these supplies while I'm going. And I also need a color lifter. So this is actually going to be just seeing the view here. I need to move this over a little bit for you guys so that you can see that. This is actually what's going to do the bulk of my coloring. And I don't know if this is going to make anybody cringe or feel like, do not do this to your markers. Maybe it's not the best idea, but it worked. And I was happy with the results. So you can always buy another color lifter, right? Hi, everyone that I have missed saying hello to. I'm glad you guys could join me at the last minute here. Okay, so I've got my memento and my image. I don't put the labels on mine. I'm not a huge fan of that. So it's this image here. So I'm going to actually just flip this over. I don't know about you guys. I find with larger images, it's easier to just flip it face up and ink it up that way. All right. So we'll just stamp that. And then the trick to getting this soft look, and I'm going to just bring in a piece of white paper here so that you guys can see the ink on the block here. It's hard to see it with the grid sheet underneath, and I want you to at least just see how I'm applying the ink to the block, and then I'll move them over. But with the white underneath, you'll at least see the ink go on there. So I have got the light Misty Moonlight, and I'm just applying a bunch of it to my block to create a palette that I can color from. So then here's Fresh Freesia. This is also the light, and I've got the block nicely coated with that. I don't need very much of the Daffodil Delight. This one's actually the dark Daffodil Delight, but I don't need a lot, so I've got the small block. And then I've got my light Old Olive. So you can see here, you don't see that Old Olive very much through the block here. And that's why I wanted to put this white paper here so that you could tell that I have actually applied color to these blocks. And that's where I'm going to color from. So I don't need my blends anymore. These can go aside. And now I will use the color lifter to apply the color to my image. So now I'll move this white paper out of the way just so that it's not in my way. And then I'll just move these off of here. So I know I've got my Misty Moonlight, my Fresh Freesia. That shouldn't come off because it's dry. Daffodil Delight, and then the Old Olive. Now I'll move this matte. If Wendy's watching, she will say, yay, that I remembered to move my matte out from underneath my image. I always tend to color with that underneath, and you don't need to have that there. So I think she's told me that you get a better coloring job if you move that underneath. Hi, Lena, I'm glad you made it. All right, so now, oh, you know what? I missed one step. I almost forgot. So I do have a little bit of extra color and depth in the center of the flower, the base of the petals, that follows these detail lines. I see Wendy's comment there. So what I'm going to do first is just give a slight bit of detail to those lines. So for this, I actually used Light Balmy Blue, and I'm using the bullet tip. Here's where Wendy's going to say, now you're regressing, and I'm not following her rules. Usually I would use the brush tip. She has been encouraging me to use the brush tip. But I'm just making some really faint lines with the bullet tip. I'll bring this closer so you guys can see. But again, that was the Light Balmy Blue, the bullet tip, or you can use the brush tip if you're more comfortable with that, and just some really slight detailed lines on that flower. All right, now here is where the coloring comes in. So I'm going to take the brush tip, back to that brush tip, and from the block where this Misty Moonlight ink is already on there, I'm going to just pick some up with the brush tip here. I'm actually going to keep, she's given up at this point. It's like a teeter-totter with me, Wendy. So now I'm going to, just make sure I didn't get, I try to pick up the ink more with the tip of the brush tip, and then that way I have a little bit more control to apply that color at the base. So I'm just using this as my medium to pick up that color and get a really nice soft look. So that little bit of Balmy Blue is getting blended out with this color lifter. So it's kind of like it's then removing some of that color so that those lines aren't quite so stark. And then I can come back in and add more color to the base of the petals. So you don't want to go too heavy with the color lifter, otherwise it will make the image sort of blend out a little bit. It'll blur the edges. But I'll bring this closer. So now you guys can see I've colored that petal, and then you get this nice soft look. So if you want it really soft, like I did with my very first sample, this one here, that's quite a bit softer. I will actually just quickly stamp one more flower and show you guys how I did that first version just so you can see the difference. I won't bother to pull out the mat or anything like that. I'll just stamp this and show you part of one petal just so that you can see it. I felt like this other method was kind of ruining it. I felt like it was going to deplete the color in my blends. So that was when I came up with this strategy to put some on the block and lift the color from there instead. And you will see what I mean in just a second here. So how I did that first version that's really light, and again, you could do this one really light as well, you just don't apply as much color. But what I had done was I took my color lifter, the brush tip, and then the brush tip of the color I was using, and I picked the color off of here. So this is something I think Wendy did actually teach me. And then I could apply it this way. But after so much time, it was harder to get color off the tip, and I was afraid that I would just deplete that color in there. So I found it faster and easier, and I had more control to just apply a little swatch of color on straight onto the block and color that way. But I just wanted to show you, whoopsie, those two different methods. Have any of you used your blends this way? Let me know in the comments if you have given them a try like this. It was brand new to me, so just curious. It's a lot of times more than one of us comes up with the same technique without knowing that someone else has also tried it. Okay, so I'm just keeping a scrap sheet here. I just want to make sure I don't like it when the color goes too far up the brush tip, because then when I go to apply this, I get a streak where I'm not wanting it. So I'll just keep that scrap sheet there. So now I'll just pick up more color off my block, and then I can just keep coloring this in. I have colored a lot of these flowers now, so my tip, maybe I'm actually just going to switch to a new color lifter. I have one handy because I've been doing lots of this image, so I wasn't sure how far that marker would go, so I'm just pulling out a new one now. Whoa, that one's dry. That's not good. We'll go back to this one. Hopefully it will do the trick. Okay. That was a little bolder than I wanted. So then I'll just blend out a little bit more. And then if you have too much color, because this is a color lifter, you can just keep going over it and it will lift the color out. I feel like my color lifter is drying out on me, and that second one that I have is seems like a dud. So Ashley, you said you have done this. Did you apply it? Did you color by picking the color up off the tip of the marker, or did you apply it to a non-porous surface like the block and pick it up from there? Curious to know. Yeah, this marker is definitely dying on me, but you guys will get the idea as I color here to see how I did the overall image. So there we go. I would maybe blend this out a little bit more here. Again, you can just come back over it again and add as much or as little as you like. Okay, so now I will move on to the yellow that I used for the centers. And to do that, you want to make sure that whatever color is left in there, it's sort of like a blender pen in this way, just make sure that you color that out of the tip. So I don't want any Misty Moonlight left in there while I'm picking up the yellow or the Daffodil Delight. So now I am just going to color in the yellow, and I feel like I don't have to be as precise with coloring with this method. And you don't necessarily need to be super precise with blends, but this is just a soft watercolored look, so I'm just applying it on there fairly, like not with a lot of precision. Imprecisely, I guess, just dabbing the color onto there. I did on that larger center, I did use the lines that they kind of give you as a guide to tell you where to put a little bit more detail. I did use those to go in first with a little bit of the color and then just quickly blend it over. So that's all we need to do for the Daffodil Delight. So now I can move this block out of the way. And then next I'll pull in the Fresh Freesia. So again, just like I did with the Misty Moonlight, I'll bring this a little closer so you guys can see that. But again, just like I did with the Misty Moonlight, I want to take the Fresh Freesia blend and just give a little bit of detail up those lines. Absolutely, Ashley. I was telling myself after I made my sample, before I decided exactly what I was making everybody for their onstage gifts, I made a sample and I was telling myself this could take a really long time to color and how long will my blends last. I had purchased a couple of extra sets just in case. And then when I came up with this strategy, I had a lot more confidence that I'd be able to get them done in a more timely fashion. All right, so now again, my Fresh Freesia is on this block. So now I can just use this, the brush tip again of my blends, or the color lifter, to apply a little bit more color and blend this out. You can see I did not color out the Daffodil Delight. There's a little streak of yellow in there. That's why I was saying use your scrap sheet to get the color out before you move into the next color. So do as I say, not as I do. And then I find it easy to just keep rotating the paper around so that I'm coloring in the way that is easiest for me, right-handed, so it's easier to just keep doing the same stroke over again as opposed to having to maneuver myself around the image. All right, so there is the Freesia flower. There's one of them, and I do have all these little ones here to do, and these ones are super easy. I was not strategic in applying this color whatsoever. I just splashed the color on. That is the nice thing about coloring in this method, is with this image anyway, is you don't need to be very precise. I don't find anyway. I'm a lot less intimidated coloring this way than any other way. So I think this block is going to be, the block technique here for blends is going to be my friend. We got another image if we purchased the actual swag bag for on stage. I don't know if any of you are demos watching here, and if you have the other stamp set that we could get in the swag bag, I'll pull it out and show you guys. I think that we're allowed to show you. But I think that this technique would work really well with that stamp set as well. So I have just removed the color there. Remind me at the end here, once I'm done, to pull that stamp set out and show you guys. Okay, so I'm done now with the Freesia. And then all I have left to do is the leaves. So here again, I'm going to take the bullet tip and just give a little bit of detail on these lines here. And usually you would not necessarily give the detail lines throughout your whole image. You would maybe pick like these two, put the detail lines, and then color over, and then move on to the others before you, just so that you're not blending out the whole image at once. But I found that it was okay to do that with this image and this method. Okay. And then I'm just going to do the same And I am just choosing to do the larger petals first to get them out of the way. It's a little easier to see the detail in those if those lines aren't as willing to blend out, if it sets in there a little bit more before I get to them. So that was my strategy in doing the larger ones first. And you do have to continually keep picking up ink from that block, of course. Have all of you guys tried using blends before? Who here has not used blends? And would using them in this way give you more confidence to just give them a try? Let me know what you guys think. There we go. Oh, I missed a little bit here. There we go. So I won't make you guys wait while I die cut this. I'll bring this a little closer again. So that is the really soft kind of watercolored look, but with blends. So then you would just take that die and die cut it out. I'm actually going to, yeah, Maria, I'm glad that you will give this a try. I'll grab that other stamp set really quick just to show you guys. And I think that it would work really well with this one. So maybe I will have to carve out some time to give it a try. But with this one here, I think you could get a really nice soft colored look with these images, and I think that they lend really well. The images lend really well to that type of look. So, Annette, is that a me you have not used blends? Let me know if you would try them with this technique. All right. So the next project, I'll actually make this little gift card holder just so that you guys can see how easy this is to make, and also just wanted to show you the DSP and how you can use your DSP to make lots of these little guys here. Okay, and then what I will do is, for those of you who wish to share this video, I will take this image. Obviously, I'm not going to make another one of these, but I'll make a card version of this. So whoever wins the draw, so if you share this video and then come back to it and comment to tell me that you have shared it, I will put you guys in a draw, and next Friday I will draw for a winner of the card that I will make out of this. So I won't make the card tonight, but I will make one using this image and sort of this kind of sketch here, and the winner will receive this image on a card in the mail from me. And I will quickly walk you guys through how to make this. So hopefully some of you will stick around to see how I made this gift card holder. And you can put your DSP to good use after this. Okay. So for this one, I have a piece of cardstock. I told myself I'd remember the measurements, but I did not. So I'm going to just quickly measure and tell you guys what size this is. So this is 3.5 by 5. And then the piece of DSP is a 3 by 6. So if you have all of these stacks of the 6 by 6 DSP and you are just not sure what to do with them, or you have more than you could ever make cards with and you need gift card holders, it seems to be an easy item to gift, cut those pieces in half, the 6 by 6 down to a 3 by 6, and that's the size that I used for the little wrap here. Then I have this strip of Misty Moonlight. It is 3 by 1. And then I used a strip of the new DSP that's coming up. It is 3 by, I believe, 7/8. And then I used a little piece of smoky slate that also coordinates, and it is 3 by 3/8. And you can switch those out to whatever measurement you want. I've also got this little label from Frightful Tags Dies. This one's adorable. I think I got this one just for that little label shape, which seems silly, but it's these ones here. So I think these labels would be super useful for other things. You've got the circle there too. The little fence is cute. So definitely not strictly Halloween. All right, now this is where I will need to use my Simply Scored. So I'll give you guys the measurements for where to score. I'm going to just move those out of the way a little bit so that you can see where the score lines are. Okay, so on this piece here, we're going to score it at 2.5, so just halfway along the long side. So that's 2.5. I like to use the small tip for cardstock, and then the broader tip for pattern paper. So now this I'll score at 3, and I don't press too hard with that through the DSP because I don't want it to tear. So that's all I need to score. Now again, I am going to use this image here. So I just need to clean that memento off of there really quick. All right, so that's clean. Now I will bring this a little closer so that you guys can see here. There's a really soft image behind the thanks. I found it was just a little bit too plain with just the thanks. I wanted something to just tie it in a little bit, but I didn't want this image to be really bold. So another way that you can get a nice soft look is to stamp off first. So what I'll do is take my greeting shape. I'm going to just ink up the whole image with smoky slate and then stamp off once and again. And then that way I'll end up with just a really soft amount of the ink there. So now I'll bring this closer. It's really hard to tell from far away with the brightness, but hopefully if I bring that closer, you guys can see there that it's got just the really soft image there. So now I can take my thanks. This is from Biggest Wish. If you don't have this stamp set, it's a really good one. This is one of my favorite. This one I believe was demoed maybe last year, one of our last events, maybe even today actually. So this one here is a really good one. I love these scripty stamps, and I used the Misty Moonlight for this one to coordinate with the rest of the products. Okay, and this one I'll go full strength with stamping. There we go. So now we've got all of the stamping done. That's all there is to it. You can do more if you have something else in mind for this, but just really simple with the stamping. And then now we can get on to assembly. So I'll just move these things here. So you'll take your cardstock and just burnish that fold. When I burnish the fold of the pattern paper, I don't tend to burnish it really hard, but you do just want to give that a nice crease. And before I wrap the DSP around this, I'll show you guys how I punched this little opening here. So I have an opening in this piece of pattern paper there that I fed the ribbon through to tie it closed. That way you don't have to tape it shut. They can reuse this if they want. It's actually the strategy for my using thanks. It was like a thanks for investing in yourself and in your business, but also so that they could reuse this gift card holder and not feel like it had a greeting that was specific to them having partaken in on stage. So this punch here, I can't remember the name of it. I will have to look up what it is, but I'm going to use this little slot here. I had a guide for myself so that it would end up in the same spot every time, but of course I don't have that handy, so I'm going to just wing it. But I can see through the hole here that my pattern paper is in there, so I want to go just a little bit past that There we go. And now I've got that little hole there that I'll be able to feed my ribbon through to tie this shut. Okay, now I did attach these together and just got my tear and tape hiding underneath my other adhesives. So here's what I did. I just put a little piece of tear and tape on the front and on the back, and then I just line this up in there. I have not peeled the backings off yet. And then that way, I know I've got it all lined up. Now I can just reach in here, peel that off, flip this over, and then peel the other one off. And now it all matches up. Okay. I actually should have put these other little pieces onto the pattern paper first, but it'll be fine. It'll all work out. So now what I want to do is apply this pattern paper to my cardstock. For this, I like to use the Tombow. It's got a little bit of give to it if you need to adjust. If it doesn't go down quite straight, you got a little bit of wiggle room. Time to shuffle it. Okay. So now I've got my DSP onto the cardstock, and now I can put the next piece of cardstock onto there, and I'm going a little bit towards the bottom. I have not centered this right in the middle of the strip. I want it a little bit towards the bottom side. Okay, again, the Tombow allows you a little bit of wiggle room. And then now I'll use Tombow again, and I can attach this. I went about a ½ inch up from the bottom fold. So now I'll just attach that. I apologize, I'm not watching comments while I'm busy concentrating on watching. Yay, Wendy, thanks for telling me that. It does work a lot better with this matte finish. Now I feel like I need to laminate my regular matte with the matte finish too. You can see I've got a little bit of Tombow there, so I'm gonna get rid of that first. Okay, and then next we will just attach this with dimensionals. Everybody who knows me knows I love dimension, so it would be very rare that I would make something that has no dimension to it. How about you guys? Are you team dimensionals, or you like to keep things flat? Yeah, Lena, the replay will be here. I'll post this on the page after, so it will stay here. You guys can come back to it whenever you need. So I've just peeled the dimensional backings off, and then I lined up the little corner here, the inverted corner, with the bottom of the smoky slate strip. So now that's all good to go. And then I have one last little touch before I tie the ribbon, and that is these classic matte dots that we were able to purchase with our on stage supplies. It's like it's not necessary, it's a pre-order of sorts, I guess. I'm glad you guys like dimensionals. I'm not sure if Susie's here, but way back in our early crafting days, Susie always had to remind me to use dimensionals. So now it's my go-to. All right. Just had to get myself some new putty in my take your pick tool. All right, so I'll bring this a little closer so you can see I've got the larger one here and the small one and another small one. The nice thing about these dots is you get one large per two small, and when I use these, I like to use them in a configuration of 3, and I usually use one larger one and 2 smaller ones. So for me, this was the perfect count, I guess, that they included in this package. So I love how this happened to work out. All right, so I've got my 3 classic dots on there. So you can see here, that's where they are. This one does have a gift card in it. One person actually gets Tim Hortons. They don't have Starbucks where they are. So I went and got her a Tim Hortons one. So that will fit straight in there. And I'll just show you guys. These are the sleeves that the Starbucks ones came in, and obviously that is too big. So I just took the card directly out of here and popped it inside. The Tim Hortons ones, their little sleeve is sized the same size, so I just left it in there. But if you like to make these fancy gift card holders, just recycle or donate the other ones that they come in. Hi, Sandy. All right. Now I have some ribbon, and this one I feel works perfectly with this size of slot. Oh, the take your pick tool, Terry. I don't know how I lived without this thing. I did not use it until last year. And then when I ran an online class with Nemi and Laura, the 3 of us ran it together. They got me hooked on it, and I use it all the time now. It is a godsend, so definitely add that to your wish list. It's a good stocking stuffer. Okay, so then now I just take this ribbon, and you can feed it through here. This is from the Flowers for Every Season ribbon combo pack. I love this ribbon. It's just a nice soft white. It's super easy to tie. So then I just tie that here. And they don't even have to untie it. They can if they wish to. There we go. Actually, do you know what I should do? I should do 2 draws. Now that I'm making this, I'll do 2 draws next week. One person will get a $5 Starbucks card in the mail in this gift card holder, and somebody else will win the card. So I'll have 2 winners next week. And now I need ribbon scissors. Those are the one thing that I did not grab. So whoever wins this, you can either untie this bow if you wish, or you can just pop the gift card out the side. And then that way you don't have to untie it. You can just leave that bow on there and reuse it. All right, so there we go. Are any of you going to give this a try? I hope you will. I hope that it is quick and easy, something that you guys feel you can try at home without a lot of time or effort. I was in the works to try and print a flyer to share with you guys, but our printer's not working very nicely for us today. So I will just tell you guys about it. So if you're wondering a little bit more about Onstage, this is an event for demonstrators only. If you are interested in becoming a demonstrator, they actually have Stampin' Up! Actually has a really great promotion on right now, where in Canada you can join for $100. It's typically $135, and you get to choose $165 in product. For the rest of November, it is on sale for $100. You get to choose your starter kit, valued at $165. So you get to pick whatever you want to curate your kit. You can pick stamps and dies or paper, whatever you like. You can make up your kit yourself. So if that's something that interests you, let me know. And I'd be happy to answer your guys' questions, help you get started. And then next year when Onstage comes, or over the year there's other events that demonstrators only can take part in, then you would qualify for those as well. And then we also have fun team things that we do together in between. So we have team meetings that are optional, and all kinds of other fun things. I have team appreciation for last year's team members coming up, so that'll be the next thing. Maybe I'll have more things to demo for you guys from that. But I wanted everyone to know how I colored this, and also my teammates who I gave these to, so that they could see how I colored that image for them. And hopefully I did you proud, Wendy. Wendy teaches me a lot about coloring. She is a teammate as well. So anyhow, does anyone have any questions? Hello to everyone that I did not give a personal hello to, as I was concentrating on my coloring. And oh, thank you, Sandy. Yeah, for those who haven't seen yet, or who maybe aren't demonstrators, I placed number 7 in sales for last year in Canada, so that was really exciting. It was not something that I expected, but thank you guys all for supporting me over the last year and allowing me to stamp with you guys in these lockdowns that we were having. Hopefully we don't have them like we did last year, but it was my pleasure and honor to be able to create with all of you over the last year, and hopefully we will get to do lots of stamping this year, just not for lockdown reasons. All right, so don't forget to give this a share, and then come back and comment to tell me that you shared, and I will put you guys into the draw next Friday. So I will say Friday at 6. So next Friday at 6, I'm going to write that down for myself so that I don't forget. I always have the best intentions of remembering, and then I have to come back and watch my videos sometimes. So 6 p.m. Central. Anybody who has shared and come back to comment to let me know that you have, I'll do 2 draws. One person will win a gift card holder with a $5 Starbucks card, and then somebody else will win the card that I will make out of this colored image here. And I will come back and post an image of that card as well in the meantime, with a little reminder to make sure that you guys share the video. So thank you guys so much for coming and watching with me here. Thanks for joining me for my live. I had lots of fun. It's been a long time since I've done a live, so it's nice to have some people here watching with me, and I hope you guys learned something. All right. I think if I missed any questions, I will go back through the comments and answer them for you guys. So I'm glad some of you learned something, and thanks again for all of your guys' support. Good night. Have a good weekend.